everyone, it's Jesse from Bento here, and in this video I want to walk you through my setup of Grockbot and the things that I've set up in the last 24 hours. A lot of what I've set up I was already doing. I was using other tools. I had self-hosted OpenClaw and Hermes instances, but this form factor is just like so nice that I want to kind of explain why I'm really excited about it, because it simplifies a lot of all the hodgepodge solutions that I had going on. And I think if I show you what I am currently doing, maybe it'll give you ideas of things that you can do in your business. So yeah, let's dive straight into it. So what is Grockbot? Grockbot is effectively agents that have their own computer. So in the interface, you can press the plus button, go to new bot, and it will show you, it'll give you, basically show you a couple of options of bots that you can set up. I always just create my own, give it a name like dev bot, support bot, or chief of staff bot. And then the first thing you should do is just talk about what you want it to do. What's the job that it's going to do? The next thing you want to do is make sure that it has all the tools that it needs to get that job done. Now, the first thing I want to say, it's really important that you don't make up jobs or tasks or go too crazy with this. You really want to just replace things that humans are actually doing. So, for example, I want to talk about support. Support is something in Bento that if you've been following along on our journey, we've already automated so much of it. When you email into support, our AI will basically go back and forth with the person using our docs and some other tools to get the job done. And then if it can't get the job done, it escalates to a human to resolve the ticket. Now, the escalation part is the main thing that I wanted to resolve here. It was annoying to have to go into Bento or open my laptop to resolve those tickets, and I wanted a way to do that from my phone and sometimes automatically. So the first thing that I did was I made my support bot. I then connected Bento's MCP to the support bot. If you're using Intercom or Help Scout, you can just connect that directly there. Then I have it so 3 to 4 times a day, I think it's 4 times a day, the agent will fetch all conversations using the Bento MCP, work out if any were escalated to a human, and then go, hey, what should we do here? Some of those tasks resolve admin actions that still required my computer. So what I did was I made an admin-only MCP and some admin-only API endpoints that I can basically interact with. This is something that, obviously our customers don't have access to. It's things like cancel an account, ban an account, approve an account for send-in, refund their last couple of payments. And so I made API endpoints for that, added a little MCP wrapper, and then gave our support bot access to that MCP. And so now when it goes, hey Jesse, someone is asking for a refund, I can say, yeah, sure, no worries, go refund that last payment. That's also something you could probably do with like the Stripe API, but I kind of really like this admin MCP idea, and I got this idea from Ian, who runs HelpSpot, and from the Mostly Technical podcast, and he came up with the idea of like, why do you even need an admin dashboard? Can't you just have an admin MCP and API endpoints and then just interact on your phone with it? And so I really like that. So to summarize, we've got Bento Chat MCP or your help desk MCP. We've got an admin MCP. Support bot has access to that. And then we've got a cron job, effectively, that runs multiple times a day, which is all configured in here, that'll fetch messages, tell me what I need to work with, and then I can just say, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that, and it will get it all done. So that is a support bot that I've got going. The next thing that I have going is a content bot. Now, this is something that I think it's something that I've always wanted to do, but I've never been diligent enough in it. So with Bento, I have a habit of shipping a lot of features and never talking about them. And there's a lot of amazing stuff that we ship that no one knows about because we don't publish blog posts, we don't push it out to social media, and I really wanted to fix that. So I made a little content bot that looks at our changelog, because I do post in our Discord really regularly. So what this bot does is it scans our Discord changelog for changes and updates that I put in there. Then it does that once a week on a Monday. It works out what is user-facing. So obviously, like internal stuff, it's not going to tell people about. But if there is a user-facing feature, it'll highlight. It will then draft up blog posts just in our marketing repo. So we've just got our blog in, what is it, just like a Next.js website. And it'll draft those up, create a PR. It'll ping me in here and say, hey, what do you think about those blog posts? I'll probably go in and maybe add a couple of edits, and then I'll say merge. Once it merges, I've told this bot that once we merge blog posts in, can you please draft up some social media posts on LinkedIn and X using the buffer MCP, and then it basically does that. I've got 3 blog posts talking about the code editor, email reviewer, and some transactional stuff that we shipped. And it's drafted all those up, it's pushed it. I said, hey, that's good to go. And now they're approved. And actually, like this morning I woke up and some social media posts were published and people liked them, and now they know that we have a cool email viewer pushed to Bento. So that is like a super simple one where I probably would have had to hire someone for that. And I was actually looking to hire someone to help me with just producing more consistent marketing. But after I implemented this, I was like, all right, like what else can I do on the marketing front that can be systematized? Same with this video. Can I grab this video, give it to Grockbot, and have a video bot that is basically a publisher? It trims it, edits it, pushes it to YouTube, pushes it to X, and I can do that all from here. I think I can. I think that's something that I can probably do, and that's something after this video I'm going to explore. But again, these are all jobs and tasks that I would probably hire like an assistant or someone to help me with. And again, with each of these, you just really want to make sure that these are, you imagine these as people, you imagine these as assistants or contractors that you would delegate these tasks to, because the closer you get to that, I think the more success you'll have with this. I keep seeing screenshots on X of people having basically each of these bots is a project. You don't want to do that. These are contractors or people that you are trying to mimic, right? So what else do we have going? Something that I experimented with that the cursor people kept saying was very effective was a chief of staff. So I've got a morning brief that hits me every morning. So usually when I go to the gym, I'm frantically, scanning Gmail, Discord, Slack, just like everything. And then working on, hey, is there anything urgent that I need to address? And what this chief of staff bot does is it has access to Gmail, has access to my calendar, has access to just like a whole bunch of things. And it gives me like a really nice summary in the morning. And in the morning I wake up, like this morning I woke up and at 7 a.m. it sends me, hey, you got this email from a spam house rep on this specific product. Do you accept or decline it? Then there's some customer stuff. There's a couple of abuse things that I need to research into, and then told me, hey, I've got like a podcast at 11, and then we have dinner later tonight. And so then I can just reply, hey, reply to this person with this, reply to this person with that, and then I kind of know what's on my plate for the day. And that comes in automatically every single day. Whereas I now no longer have to do this ADD scrambling to work out what is up. And this is something that I think everyone can do. And it's something that, big companies have, but now a small business can have a chief of staff that does all this kind of good stuff. What else? Yeah, okay. The other thing that I have set up is a dev one. Now, I already used the Cursor app and I was kind of like, I probably don't need a dev one because I can do this all in Cursor. And I have changed my opinion on that. So to give an example is in Cursor, because I'm working across so many different repositories, I often have to configure my workspace to have those repositories so then I can prompt in a way that edits all of them. And it can sometimes get a little bit messy. For example, let's say I need to add a new API endpoint. If I do that, I then have to go update 10 or so SDKs. I've got to go update our marketing docs. I've got to go update just everything. And it's pretty overwhelming. With the bot, though, this dev bot, because it has access to Cursor and it can spin up its own agents, I can say, hey, can you add this or amend this API endpoint and then go update docs? And I did that actually just before I wrote out here, and it created a PR or created a Cursor agent that then created a PR for our main monolith repo. It then updated docs and then told me, hey, do you want to merge all this stuff in and when do you want to merge it in? And so I'm finding actually managing multi-repos to be way easier in this than it was in Cursor by itself or using Codex and any of that stuff. I kind of almost don't even need to configure projects anymore. I just ask the bot and it'll find the right GitHub repos and work correctly in it. So that's kind of nice. I've also got a group chat here, which is a concept I don't think I've spoken about yet, where you can have multiple bots in a conversation together. So I've got a dev and an infra bot. Now, why would you want that? Well, what I can do is I can say, hey, infra bot, can you quickly work out why our app is down right now? It'll check BetterStack MCP, Honeybadger MCP, and PlanetScale MCP and go, all right, hey, your database is down, or I don't know, some application code is down, or maybe you have to start rate limiting this user. They're causing, an endpoint to be overwhelmed. Then that can actually, if it identifies that, delegate a task to the dev bot, and then the dev bot will go apply like whatever code fix it is. So you have these kind of group conversations, which are pretty useful. I've also got another group chat which combines chief of staff, finance, and sales and stuff. And a kind of interesting example that I did was we had a customer that their payment was failing, and it was a decent payment. It was like $4,000 or $5,000 a month, and this customer is on legacy, our legacy email provider, and so it actually cost quite a bit of money. And I was like, hey, just as like a thought process, what would happen if that customer churned? Like, what would be the net profit impact? And then it used a combination of Stripe, Xero, like, because it needed to know like our costs for that like our SendGrid costs effectively. It then looked up an invoice, the last SendGrid invoice in Gmail, and then I looked at the customer's email volume in Tatami, which is like my other product, and I've got an MCP there too. And using all that, it was like, hey, like based on this customer's usage, if this customer churned, your actual profit loss would only be this much amount. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like if they, end up churning, it's not as a bigger deal as it would have been. But me actually doing the maths on that would have taken me like so much time manually to figure all that stuff out. But now I've got this nice little group chat where I can have all these agents working simultaneously to get that job done. And so, yeah, you want to be using these group chats when you want to be spinning off people doing a whole bunch of different tasks and then come back together and consolidate a lot of that information. So yeah, that's basically what I've got set up. I'm still building this out, and I've still got some more here. Like I've got a compliance bot, and I've got a few other ones that I want to get set up. But if you've been on the fence with all the Hermes and OpenClaw stuff, I would just advise playing with this stuff and keep really, really focused on replacing real human tasks and work. And if something is hard, you may have to build tools and API endpoints to get jobs done. But if you can, you'll end up in a really, really nice spot. What you don't want to do is make up tasks or start doing stuff you weren't already doing. I see so many people doing that, and it kind of like really bugs me. Like, if you don't have a sales team, don't make a sales bot that is doing sales work you don't really know how to do, because it's not really going to work. Start with the key tasks, get them off your plate, get them automated, get recurring tasks going, and then just keep doing that until you get to the point where you can start exploring maybe some new activities. But yeah, anyway, that is how I am currently using these tools. If you guys thought this was interesting, let me know. I'm happy to continue talking about it. All right, see you guys in the next video. Bye.